guys, welcome back. This episode is all about how to up-level your spiritual business in 2022. And in this episode, we're going to cover a lot. So you might want to get some notebook paper and pens to write some things down too.
Absolutely. And just to start out, if you want a different 2022, you're going to have to do things differently than you did in 2021.
Yes.
That's the common sense, right? We all know this. But I think that we all forget this at times. I know that I do. It's like, it's so simple.
Yes.
But it is the truth.
It's true. And most of the things that are going on right now is, oh, I hope 2022 is so much better than 2021. But guess what? You are a part of making that shift. And this is why we want to talk in detail about the things that you can do and shift your own 2022, because everything that's going on in the world is going to happen no matter what. But you have to figure out, how am I going to handle my emotions? How am I going to up-level my business? Because our emotions and our business go hand in hand.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that as humans, we naturally hate change. It sucks to change. And a lot of times we think that if we're changing or we're up-leveling in our life, we think that it's because it's not, or it's wrong, or we've been doing horrible at it. No, it's not that way. Even if you have a great relationship with your wife or husband, you could always have a better relationship. Even if you made $1 million last year in your business, you could always up level and have more impact in your business this year. So no matter what category it is, there's always a new level you can go to. And it doesn't mean that it's because you're shitty at what you're doing right now. It just means that we're humans, and one of our needs for happiness, for fulfillment, is progress, making progress in our health, in our emotional health, in our business, and in all areas of our life.
Right. And the thing that's going to get that progress to be made is going to be self-reflection. It's going to be education, whether it's through books, classes, masterminds, retreats, whatever it is. But there's ways to get better every day. And not to the point where you feel like you're constantly feeling like you have to fix yourself. It's just nourishing your soul and nourishing the experiences in your life. And it's funny because I was just talking to someone the other day, a family member, and I was telling her about a book. It was actually one of the books that we have here that we're going to recommend. And she's like, wait, but why are you reading that? Why did you have to read that? And I'm like, actually, it's not that I have to read it. It's because I do read. It's something that's important. You don't have to have a problem to read a book. In actuality, sometimes it's nice to read the book and figure out, how do I deal with that problem when it comes.
Right. It's not about like shaming yourself, feeling guilty, feeling bad. You could feel good throughout this process. You could have a lot of excitement around this process. I think a big thing that holds people back from up-leveling is they think that they need to have the confidence before they do it.
Yeah.
And it's not that way. It's courage comes before confidence. So it's like, we have to go and put ourselves out there in our business, with a relationship with our husband or wife. If say that you're not used to having vulnerable conversations with each other, well, you're not going to be confident in that area right now. But if you have the courage to do it, because you know that being vulnerable and being honest with your husband or wife, that's what's going to help your relationship. That's what's going to help your emotions. So just remember that too. You don't have to have that confidence first. You just have to have the courage. And then after you have your successes and your failures and all these different things, that's when that confidence starts to come. So always keep that in mind too.
Yeah, and with the courage, you have to take some sort of action. You just can't sit back and think, oh, I'm just going to read a book and not test it out. Because really, when you're reading, and we just talked about this, I said, look at all these books, like some of them look nice and neat, and then we know who reads the books that look like this, because Tony, he brings them everywhere. And,
yeah, they end up at the gym with me, like different places. I bring my books, my bike rides, so you could see this one. This book right here, this is called Think and Grow Rich. This book I purchased in 2007. I didn't know anything about personal development then. I didn't know anything about anything. It's just this book kind of jumped off the shelf to me. It didn't literally fall off, but it was right there, and for some reason I knew I had to get it. It was probably because I was thinking at the time, I want to make a lot of money, and the title was Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
But like Lindsay said, books are a big thing in up-leveling your life, your business.
Right.
Books, education, right? Learning. And this book right here, Think and Grow Rich, it hits on the point of money mindset. And I think that's a huge thing, especially when it comes to people's business. A lot of times they think that It's a certain strategy. That's what's going to do it. It's if I do what this person did because they were successful at it, that's what's going to do it. Or all these other things on the outside. And 90% of that time, that if the person's being held back, it's because of their money mindset. They grew up, like a lot of us did, hearing negative things about money. So that's the recorder inside of us. Every time we go to take a step, we have that nagging thing in the back of our head, that recorder that says, you can't do that because if you get money, then all rich people are bad. So you don't want to be bad, do you? Or money's the root of all. You heard that one before. And all these different things. So it's a balance between finding the different strategies to do in your business that work for you and your personal personality and unique self, how you are. And then most important, I believe the 80-90% is the money mindset, is being aware of that recorder inside of you and shifting that.
Yeah, and the thing about Think and Grow Rich, which is awesome, is all about the power of masterminding. So we're constantly masterminding in our life, but
there's a whole chapter in it. Yes,
yeah, that's like such a pivotal chapter. The whole book is amazing, but whether you've listened to this on audio or you've read it, and it talks about, like we say, 2 or more minds getting together with the same focus, a third mind comes into play. That's why when you're in masterminds or you're in, retreats or workshops with other people that are focused on the same thing, you have these ideas and your imagination opens up in ways that you never thought that it would. And it might not be something that someone's saying in the moment directly, but something that triggers inside you think about it because of you're in that group together. And this is the book that talks a lot about that. I feel like this is a really good book. It's one of those books where I'm surprised that this was your first one too, because this is a tough one to read when it's your first, spiritual book, I feel. Because I'd have to keep on rereading certain chapters to understand it at the beginning.
That's the thing. A lot of times people think, oh, I already know that, so I don't need to do that. Well, no, Bob Proctor, all of you heard of him before, I'm sure. He's been reading this book every day for 50 years because he understands that it's not about what's written on the pages. It's not about memorizing all that. It's the insight that you get each time you put yourself in the book or each time you're in a mastermind, like you were saying. It's not just the information that you're receiving. It's all of a sudden you're in this whole new energy.
It's a vortex.
And it's a vortex. And then all of a sudden you're tapped into spirit in a different way, God, the universe, and it starts pouring these ideas into you. Have you ever had a person to where when you hang out with them, you're like, all these ideas just start pouring into me and you never figure out why? Well, that's why, because like Lindsay was saying, when 2 minds are focused with the same intention, that's when this vortex starts to create. And that's why Lindsay and I believe in the power of connection. If you want to uplevel your business in 2022 or any year, it's going to be connecting with the right people. So what does that look like? How can you do that? Well, Lindsay and I, we do that in our own businesses. We create masterminds in our own business. We have a 90-day mastermind coming up. It actually starts next week. We have 2 spots available. So inbox us or email us to apply for that. And we also join other masterminds. So I have a mastermind coming up with one of my mentor coaches, and I'm going to be in this mastermind with all different types of coaches because of this. So you could strategically create it in your own business, and you could join other people's masterminds as well. And I would suggest to do both. And you could also have masterminds with your friends. So I have a lot of workout masterminds. I have other masterminds with friends to where we go to coffee shops and we just kind of bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, there's so many different things that you could think about in your life, and you might not even know it. If you pick up the phone every day and talk to the same person, you're forming a mastermind. So think about those conversations that you're having and think about the energy that's kind of created in that. Is it a mastermind that you want to continue to have regularly? So think about how you can nourish yourself. This is definitely one of the books on the list.
Think and Grow Rich.
I'm going to kind of briefly talk about some of these, and you can write these down or take a picture of this or a screenshot. Of course, this one, I think a lot of you have read, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel. And this is a book that you'd think that would be very simple to master, but it's actually not. And he goes through the 4 agreements in life. And one of them is be impeccable with your word. Another one's don't take things personally. There's so many different concepts in this book, But it's something to think about, because when it comes to business, you really have to become aware of these 4 things, and even living life as a human. And like I said at the beginning, the importance of your emotions really do tie to your business. If you're not feeling right emotionally, it will show up in your business. I know personally the past few years have been one of those feelings where it's like, oh, something emotional is coming up. I got to make sure I take a step back, recharge, and come better for my business. Maybe it makes me become more vulnerable in my business and what I share too with my students. But if I didn't read these self-development books, it would really kind of stop me in my tracks on where do I go from here. I feel like it's a big thing.
It's a huge thing. Like 2 days ago, I was having a rough day. I was feeling stressed out, anxiety. I didn't even know what it was from. And you and I, we went to the coffee shop and we did a little mastermind. We connected. I had this space, and then all of a sudden I received this insight of why I was feeling that way, and boom, just like that, the emotions released. And that's what this is about. This is about what Lindsay just said, is like, if you're not doing the deep inner work, and you're not being in tune and increasing your self-awareness, then your business is gonna hit a plateau. Your business is only gonna grow as much as you grow. And that brings me to our next point. This book right here. If you want to do deep inner work, this is a powerful, powerful book right here. Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Powerful, powerful work.
And it's interesting, the theme too. The 4 agreements, and there's 4 questions that will change your life in this book.
Right. It's the simplicity. And I think a lot of people are always looking for these complex things of this. No, it's a lot of simple things, but done persistently over time. And that's what creates the results. It's the persistence. I've had so many workout partners over the years, going back to 9th and 10th grade. 11th grade, 12th grade. Just in high school alone, I had probably 10 different workout partners. And it was because a lot of them, they weren't consistent. I had a few of them that were consistent with me, that showed up over and over and over again throughout the years. And they wondered why they're not getting the results. And that's why it's consistency. So with everything that we're saying in this podcast episode, it's all about applying this on a daily basis.
Yeah. In this book, I was recommended from one of my mentors in a group that I joined, and ever since then, this book has been circulating in my family too. I had my sister bought it. I had my mom buy it. She's going to pass it to the other sister. So everyone that's a human should read this book.
You need to love what is. You need to love what is. You need to love what is.
But pretty much this book is all about really loving what is. That everything that happens to us. Look at you have the Starbucks thing in here.
That's my bookmark.
Everything that is happening with us, or to us, I'm putting in parentheses or quotes, is really happening for us, because everything that we're vibrating inwards is kind of coming out and showing up with mirrors and other people. And it's so interesting how clear you can get by doing the worksheets. You have to go on the website and print out a worksheet. And it is powerful stuff in this book. And you have immediate shifts, don't you? Like in the moment.
You do. And it's one of those things, it's like you could read books all day long, but you need to apply these, and you need to get still. You need to breathe. And like in this book, it teaches you the 4 questions, and you ask these questions with every story that you have going on in your life. And then you listen for the answer internally. The answer is not out there. It comes to you, and it's a knowing, and it's a truth that you feel inside of you. And I think that's a powerful, powerful example of, like this book right here. You could tell I use it over and over. I don't just read these things one time and think that I know it all. Actually, the more that we learn, the more that you learn, you realize too, the more that you know that you don't know, and the more that you know that you could work on yourself. And this is not about shaming yourself, guilting yourself once again. And I keep repeating that because I feel like that's a common thing that comes up with people. Is they feel like
self-development books.
Right. They think that it's like, oh, it's a shame. You're putting guilt on me. No, this is just about making progress. This is about, do you want to be happy? Do you want to feel fulfilled? If you're not making progress, it's impossible to do.
Yeah. And it actually just made me think of another book that I don't have here. It's the brand new Brene Brown book. It's about the heart too. And she talks a lot about shame and vulnerability in that book. And I absolutely love it. I'm actually still reading it. So
she's powerful. If you want to learn to be more vulnerable, Brene Brown.
Yes. Okay, what's next? We have a little bit more to go over.
Right. So we covered connection, masterminds, reading, learning, education, the deep inner work, right? The deep inner work. That's applying everything that you're learning, everything that you hear from this podcast episode. Don't just listen to what we're saying and get all motivated and excited and leave without applying it to your own life, without applying it to what you're actually going through.
This is a book that I will always read, without a doubt. Wayne Dyer, Erroneous Zones. This one's all about your thinking. And this is really, when you read this book, most likely you're going to think, oh my gosh, this sounds like something that I've done at some point in my life or I'm doing now. And it's all about, everything from procrastination to guilt to any of that. And it's about the negative self-talk, because we have how many thousands of thoughts every day, and normally they're repetitive thoughts. So if we can kind of really get clear on our thoughts, we're going to find a lot of information in our thoughts that we have every day. This is a perfect book for that.
It's a perfect book for that.
Especially if you're a business owner, you're going to come up with resistance from yourself and other people around you, especially if you're in the beginning stage of your business, or you are up-leveling. You have to change something. So people are going to say, you've changed. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first, when that process is happening. So that's another one. Okay, so we're not going to go through every book, but just kind of take a picture of these books, because there's so much information in each of these books. And
this book right here, we've talked about this several times.
And I know some people are listening, so we'll have to say the name of it.
Simple Living, The Art of Simple Living by Shunmyo Masuno. I might have slaughtered his name, but The Art of Simple Living, look up that book.
And
we have this book at our Airbnb in St. Louis, and every time we go back there, I'll read a page and then I'll just look out the window and I'll meditate. We have a little canal out there, so I'll just watch the water go by. And this book is powerful for that. It's powerful for just slowing down in your life. Like when we go to St. Louis or Boston, we're going nonstop at different times. So we've learned to slow down, and this is one of the ways I do it. I'll just pick up this book randomly.
You could just read one page.
And it's always the right page. Think with your own head. Be skeptical of common sense. Right, so it's all powerful stuff. And once you open this book, it always fits what you're going through.
That's a good morning book. Like if you want to wake up with like a little morning message for yourself before you start your day for your business. And then this one I recommend to all my mediumship students. It's not about mediumship, but it's about being yourself, because it's very common for mediums to think that they have to be a certain way, put themselves in a box to fit in the mediumship world, and really you just need to be yourself. So this is a big one that my students absolutely love, and it's all about Anita Moorjani's near-death experience, from cancer to really going to heaven and experiencing powerful messages when she was there. And then the last one, this I would highly recommend to watch the movie like today, and I want to watch it again this week. It's called The Power of the Heart, and this is by Baptiste de Pape, and I've actually spoke with him on I think it was the radio show.
It's a radio show.
Yeah. And he interviews all these different authors inside, and he covers topics about the heart and how powerful it is. And this book actually glows in the dark too, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But the movie is so powerful. It will shift anything that you have going on emotionally just by watching it. If you're someone that needs to forgive someone, this is a movie to definitely watch. I don't know if you remember the movie. There's so many different pieces to it, but it is powerful stuff. So definitely check that out. I think it's at thepoweroftheheart.com to find the movie. You can find it there. So we just gave you a lot of information to start your 2022 with for your business. And just a reminder, think about what action steps you can take. Maybe it's buying a book. Maybe it's joining a mastermind. If you're in the spiritual work, we would love to have you at our mastermind, of course, but check out what resonates to you. That's the most important thing. You want to make sure that you're resonating with the content and the people, the leaders that are curating the mastermind, or join a workshop or anything else that you can put that energy towards to be surrounded with other people so that you can move to that next level. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.